Hello, everyone, and welcome to Minnow Cup Tower Control Edition. I am Mashi, and today I am joined with Topic. The two teams that we're going to be commentating over today for Groups Round 1 is Sipping Your Smoothie and Norwegian Oil Economy.
You know, so I looked up the Norwegian oil economy. They're not doing good right now. They're a little bit down in the stock price. About 5 to 10%. But let's see if that affects how these teams, Norwegian oil economy plays. Maybe they could boost it up a little bit with their gameplay. As we are going to hop into our first game, TC Inkblot.
What's your opinion on tower control in general? Like, what do you think about the game mode as a whole?
I think okay. It's weird. It depends on the map, but I overall like tower, especially the checkpoint. I think the checkpoints allow for a lot of interesting fights. The checkpoints are very, very solid on defense. And if you look at our first map, Inkblot, I think the first and second checkpoints specifically are really, really strong for defense, right? Because you are at a height disadvantage when you're pushing. You do have to be really wary of bats and of the clam. You have to be really wary of that. But also, if you are attacking, once you break through that second checkpoint, it becomes basically a hill. You're rolling a snowball because that once that second checkpoint falls, the second to third is a lot safer than you might expect.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would say like getting to that, getting through the first checkpoint is probably the hardest, especially considering like from an attacking perspective, defending against people who are either shocking or respawning, for example, coming down from those flank areas. You have to be really, really wary of where they're coming from.
Mm. Yeah, and also I like to add on, especially right after once you get to the ramp, that whole thing is uninkable. But enough talking about the past. Let's see what they do. A Dowser Dualies. I believe that's the vanilla kit with the whale. I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is the whale. So very, very interesting comp out there from Sip Your Smoothie. On the other side, more bog standard other than the range blaster, which is a weapon that has been coming up because especially on tower control, blasters are gonna blaster.
Oh yeah, it's like a playground for these guys, especially working around those boxes and really awkward angled corners. We can see here both teams trying to really take control of mid here. A lot of backwards and forwards coming from both yellow and purple's perspective. The killer whale being brought out here from Dowser Doolies. Not really actually being able to find anyone, but actually manages to take two out and is completely going forward on their pursuit right now.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Sipping Your Smoothie, Jet here is going to go down, and Norwegian Oil Company will get the first strike, breaking through that first checkpoint rather uncontestedly, as Sipping Your Smoothie is very, very staggered right now. As you see right here, they're just blitzing right through this, getting to 50 on their first push, and just now when they, right before they break through it, Norwegian Oil Company is gonna be stopped, and Sipping Your Smoothie, however, is gonna be wiped out, so the push is gonna continue, and that snowball is gonna keep on rolling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As we can see, they have a really dominant hold against Sipping Your Smoothie right now. Seeing them trying to get picks off of each member right now. That Zuka not really finding anyone currently. Sipping Your Smoothie able to shut down the push that they had going on right there, and seeing the tower slowly inching its way back to neutral while they're trying to get ground covered to hopefully get a pretty decent push going on in the future.
Yeah, it looks like that's what they're gonna try to do, but a very, very big factor I think we both forgot to point out or didn't point out here is that Sipping Your Smoothie does not have a cooler, so they have to be very, very careful in the fights as they're gonna take. But Terrible will be the last member to go down for Sipping Your Smoothie, and Norwegian Oil Company keeping their foot on the gas, not letting Sipping Your Smoothie get anywhere near mid. I think other than that first interaction we just saw there, where Sipping Your Smoothie got to mid, they have yet to get onto tower, as they're gonna go two down again, and Norwegian Oil Company looking to keep this ball rolling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As we can see here, that getting themselves back to where they were before, seeing if they can get more points off the counter right now. It's going down very quickly, actually. Norwegian Oil Company really not letting Sipping Your Smoothie really get a chance to recollect themselves and get themselves back on their feet, dropping down and just being taken out by Norwegian Oil Company right there. But as we can see, strikes coming out. But as we can see, the tower is still inching its way to that final checkpoint right there.
Yeah, like you said, it's inching closer, but Sipping Your Smoothie is holding strong with everything they got, not letting that final checkpoint fall. But unfortunately for them, Norwegian Oil Company, they're not looking back as they are going to continue their aggression. I think them having cooler just allows them to keep this up. They can afford to make mistakes. If you're Sipping Your Smoothie, you cannot afford mistakes, because if not, things like this can happen. You can keep getting staggered. That's another two down. The Zipcaster and the Zuka are going to come out to clear the path. Only the Wellstring is in spot. They're going to go down as well. And Norwegian Oil Economy with a very, very dominant game one, not letting Sipping Your Smoothie even get on the board.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They just really did not let them get the push in or really anything. As we can see, the coolerless comp really working against them. The mistakes that they were making was not able to be rectified by being able to respawn as fast as Norwegian Oil Economy.
Yeah, and I think this kind of exemplifies how important cooler is, especially in the meta of today, where being aggressive is super encouraged, since you can just kind of steamroll teams if they decide not to use a cooler. But thankfully for Sipping Your Smoothie, this is a play all three, so they still have an opportunity here to take this back as we hop into our game number 2, Hagglefish Market. Marshy, got any thoughts on this one?
I would say, coming from my perspective, I play a lot of backline-oriented Gatlings, which is mainly just Hydra and heavy edits, so it's a pretty good map, I would say, for said weapons, but it's also one of those maps that can really be really cramped, I guess you could say, especially around checkpoints near the spawn. The areas of movement is really limited, and you just have to be sure that you're not getting flanked from all angles, because it is very possible if someone slips past without being noticed.
Yeah, so I agree for the most part. Now, my thoughts on this map are very simple. Whenever I view this map, whether it be commentating or playing, I have the same exact idea. This map is the vanilla ice cream, the wheat bread, the plain white rice, the salt and pepper, your generic Marvel movies. This is the final destination of Splatoon 3. This is the most basic map in the game. Now, basic doesn't necessarily mean bad. In this case, it's a great starter map, in my opinion. It's a great map to get to feel each other, to kind of like see what the opponents are going to do. But if you're sipping your smoothie, you're gonna have to try to find your advantage somewhat, as we are going to see a couple of changes on the side of Sipping Your Smoothie with a Neo Splash and the Not 79.
Oh yeah, and as we can see, they're going completely coolerless again. I hope that doesn't really cause issues for them further down the line when pushing in and getting those checkpoints, really, especially against the range blaster that is on the opposing team.
Yeah, the range blaster from Norwegian Oil Economy is going to be very big for them, since it can just affect tower super well. And speaking of another weapon that can affect tower super well, the pencil, it will be a very big pain in Sipping Your Smoothie side, because pencil can just kind of sit there and get their team in, as we see right here, as Sipping Your Smoothie is going to get wiped out, and the red carpet is going to be rolled out for Norwegian Oil Economy, as with no real contest, they're going to get the first checkpoint and maybe even break through it.
Oh yeah, from the looks of things, they're able to take that first checkpoint very easily and swiftly. The pencil player is still really just helping from the back, really, as that tower is going forward, and letting their teammates really go crazy, I guess you could say. I would say that any splatling or sniper user who can really effectively support their teammates from further behind while riding the tower can be really helpful. As we can see, they get another wipeout, and that is game 2 going to Norwegian oil economy. That game happened so fast, I do have to say.
I mean, they just cleaned up their mistakes. They just kept sipping your smoothie on their back foot. Because if you looked at sipping your smoothies comp, they really had not they kind of had an aggressive comp, more of a space taking comp with the Dowser Dualies, with the whale, with the wellstring, with the splash, with the strikes. They could really take space. And if you look at sipping your smoothie, they just said, you know what? We're gonna run straight through a wall, and if you're in our way, we're going straight through you. And that's exactly what happened, as they're able to take the set in a 2-0. But thankfully for sipping your smoothie, this is play all 3, so they will have an opportunity to at least compete for game number 3 and get some points on the board, as we go to Manta Maria, a Splatoon 2 classic.
Oh yeah. I would say that Manta Maria is a map that some people like, a lot of people dislike. I think it really depends on the situation, especially with weapon comps. It's very important for a map like Manta Maria, figuring out like what works and what doesn't. How are you going to approach a situation, especially going up towards the enemy spawn on the ramp. Like, people can reach you from a lot of various different places up there, especially if there's a long-range weapon that can really scope out like players who are pushing said area. Getting back in, I would say, on Manta Maria can also be very difficult if like the enemy team has quite a dominant hold, I guess you could say. It's a really good map, but it's also a terrible map at the same time.
Well, I think a lot of that comes from Bunker, right? Because Bunker, you have access to a lot of mid. You basically have not access to street, but you can cover street really, really effectively. You can make it so your teammates can pass through even the tower, because the second checkpoint, the second checkpoint is in a really, really bad spot for attackers, because you're at the elbow. You're at a really, really bad disadvantage, because your opponent can pop up from anywhere on that entire side. So keeping Bunker, at least with a longer range weapon, like you said earlier, like maybe a pencil, maybe a splatling, maybe a bow, could be really, really effective, or maybe even a blaster. But as we see from the side of Sipping Your Smoothie, they're sticking with the same comp, same for Norwegian oil economy. So both teams, actually no, never mind, scratch that. There is one change. It's Jet going from the Dowsers to the regular duels with the crab.
Interesting. I wonder how the slight change in comp could change the flow of the game, really. Crab Tank, I would say, is kind of weak on this map, especially in certain areas. It's not really able to get in and get that dominant oppressive hold that they probably want, considering the lack of height areas that aren't being blocked by something else, I would say.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Sipping Your Smoothie, like you said, the crab has been really, really shut down, as Jet, I believe, has yet to get any of them going, as there's going to be one special out for Sipping Your Smoothie. It's going to be the wave break going to be popped, but unfortunately for the Norwegian oil company, is going to keep on rolling. Doggo is going to be forced off a tower by the strike, and that will be the end of the first push. But this is really, really dangerous for Sipping Your Smoothie, because there's the Kraken. They can just defend a tower without even having to think about it. And now Sipping Your Smoothie has to be super, super careful about pushing in, because like we've seen the first 2 games, they are not running cooler. So any mistakes that they made will be drastically amplified.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As we can see here, the Blasters really having a field day of picking people off from really awkward angles, working with their sword user right here to get everything that they need, really, you know, like taking out members, picking everyone off individually. That Zipcaster really going crazy there, getting 3 people, I think that was.
It was 3 people, and Norwegian oil economy is going to break through the second checkpoint like it's absolutely nothing, and they're going to keep on going. A flank from Jet is going to get shut down as well. And right now, sipping your smoothie as again yet to get on the board. They're playing some really, really solid defense, though this pressure from Norwegian oil economy is going to keep on going because of the pencil, because of the blaster, because of the zipcaster, because of the stamper. They're just able to keep this up, and so far, sipping your smoothie has been bending a whole lot, trying to stop this defense. And with this they still have to get to the third checkpoint though, and sipping your smoothie, they just gotta hold on for dear life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As we can see here, the dually player really was able to get 2 people off there. But Norwegian oil economy is still on their pursuit right now, pushing forward right now as they're edging to the last checkpoint. As we can see right now, they take game 3. So Norwegian oil economy took a set point as well, going 3-0 towards sipping your smoothie.
Yeah, it was just dominant all 3 games. I think in the total of 3 games, I think sipping your smoothie has scored a total of like 5 or 6 points that entire set. It just showed that Norwegian Oil Company, they came here to play. They came out with a very, very dominant game 1, showing how good they can
Oh,
be in tower.
sorry, I cut you off there.
You're good.
I would say that Norwegian oil economy came here to party. They have come here to, I would hopefully assume, to win.
Mhm.
Really coming into the set and just taking the games away like by force, but from sipping your smoothie, really not allowing them to really have the time to get like what they need, like specials or like positioning. They really just push themselves forward brute force without really a second thought, and as we can see, it did actually work out for them.
Yeah, and with that dominant win, that will be it for round Gover Groups round 1. We will take a very, very quick break as we let the other teams finish up. But stay right there because we got more coming up, or more Minnow Cup action coming up to you in a couple minutes.